I'm so happy, happy-go-lucky me. I just go my way, living every day. I don't worry about
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show. Good evening, ghouls, and welcome to another episode of the Hobbesy Horror Screencast Bros, the horror movie discussion podcast, where I, the titular Hobbesy, and over yonder, our co-host, RJ, will trample over with little regard for the intricate ins and outs of the film du jour. But we love them. This is season 1, episode 6. This is the mid-season episode
finale. Mid-season finale for those TV show watchers.
If we were going to take a break between these episodes, yes, it would be the mid-season finale. But unfortunately, you're going to get this one, and then you're going to get another something, and then another one, and then another something, and then another one. And then, anyway, how you doing today, RJ?
Pretty good so far. Pretty good.
Superb. It is Friday, as it is always Friday when we record these things. I know you'll be going into your weekend. I unfortunately work for the weekend. Any fun plans? Any exciting things?
No, just normal little weekend, and that's about it.
Good stuff. I myself am doing pretty all right, I guess. I have a little bit of a headache, and I'm feeling very low energy today, but I'm gonna bring it until I run out of it. That doesn't sound very optimistic. Anyway, go ahead and we'll get into our morning? Our standard banter. There we go. Our morning banter. Not even. Anything you looking out for currently, RJ? Anything on the radar this week? Anything you want to talk about before we get into things today?
Let's say I know one thing that caught my eye. David Howard Thornton, if anybody knows that name, famously plays Art the Clown, who probably the new favorite clown, nowadays amongst the horror fans. He has been I want to say, basically he got the role of playing Steamboat Willie in the comedy horror Screamboat, because now that Steamboat Willie is in the public domain, of course, we have not only a horror movie coming out, but a video game, and I cannot wait next year. So, yeah, that definitely caught my eye.
That's pretty fun. I like that. You mentioned that the current clown. Forget the wording there. My bad. But and I thought about it there for a second. I'm like, there seems to ever only be one clown at a time. You can't have more than one horror clown at a time.
Well, I guess with the whole, you got Terrifier that's been, doing its little series now. You got the Pennywise, Welcome to Derry, right?
Yeah,
Coming
that'll be
out.
coming out.
Guess you got some clashing clowns there, but for the most part, yeah, it's kind of like, all right, you get this decade, okay? We're moving on to the next clown for this decade.
It kind of feels like we don't get too many clowns clustered up.
A shame, really.
Really, it truly is. We need
I mean,
we need more clown.
you get a room full of people, and I'm gonna guess good 60 to 70% of them are afraid of clowns. So I say we need more clowns in horror.
Right, even if not afraid, at least discomforted by clowns.
It's very true. Very true. When's Ronald McDonald getting in the public domain for a movie?
Probably never. Probably not. I mean, he's been cycled out of use for McDonald's. He doesn't the figure doesn't appear in ads or anything anymore. So maybe I imagine they're gonna hold on to that IP and till the restaurant goes out of business at the eventual heat
Fingers
death
crossed.
of the universe.
Fingers crossed.
That's
We get
fair.
a
That's
Ronald
fair.
McDonald horror movie sometime in my lifetime.
I don't think we ever talked about it, but I'd brought up wanting somebody to do a Magoo movie when Mr. Magoo goes into the public domain, where he's like,
Yes.
where he's like a camp counselor for a summer camp, where a serial killer is on the loose, killing supple, youthful teens who are
Little
hoarding
peek
it up
behind
around the fire.
curtains. Little peek behind the curtains. This has been a discussion for a few years now.
This has been a while out. This has been a bit. But yeah, Mr. Magoo, and he ends up murdering all of the junior counselors and whatnot accidentally while Magooing his way through the film before the murderer can do it. Right?
I would definitely buy a ticket for that.
I think it's another 20 or so years before it goes in the public domain. I don't think it goes in the domain. Actually, no, I don't think it goes into like 2070 something maybe.
Oof.
It's a while out.
Rough.
It's like 2050, 2060, 2070. I don't know. But it's a while out still, however. But my decrepit ass will be in the nursing home waiting for that film. Fun stuff. I also wanted to mention I've been playing House Flipper lately because our favorite artist of the production and good buddy of the show, Eddie Tori, I believe you can find her on X at Eddie_Tori, if I'm not mistaken. ETTIE_TORI. But anyway, was talking up House Flipper and the fact that it has horror themed maps you can go about flipping the housing on, including the room from Silent Hill, the room, and the Myers house from Halloween. So I like, part of my brain got tricked into being like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll buy this and I'll do this. It'll be fun. Maybe I can use it for content. I can play it on stream or something. And then I started playing it and I realized, oh, it's going to take a long time to grind out enough funds to get these maps to do these horror themed houses with fun Easter eggs and surprises. So my nightmare for the last few days has been playing House Flipper. But keep an eye out on that. Maybe I'll be playing it over on my Twitch, at that Hobbesy on Twitch, or twitch.tv/thathobbesy, where I will be flipping houses with a possibly insensitive potential New Yorkese Italian accent, running my own house reconstruction company, as it were. I'm mad at it. I tell Etty every time I play it, I am very mad at her for this. These fucking kids and shit, they be clogging up the pipes, and they be leaving all these garbage around the apartments, and horse shit. It's fucking horse shit, I tell you.
Make you mad enough to kill.
And possibly, maybe, perhaps, Twitch.
Check out the Twitch, folks.
Check out the Twitch, hey, by the way. We also play video games over there, sometimes Dead by Daylight, or Killer Clowns, or any number of other things. We might get a little funky and do some drinking and play some Rocket League sometime. Who knows? Yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else. It's a dry week for me, you know. I just flipping houses. I don't, it's fucking houses. Anything else for you, RJ?
No, not at the moment. I haven't really seen too much else, because we've kind of covered it in either episodes that have already come out or episodes that are yet to come out.
All right, go back and listen to next week's episode to hear news about 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. That's pretty much where we're at.
It's where we are in our existence right now.
Time's a funny thing.
Time is time. Something flat circle chaos, something ladder, uno, something life sentence. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can go ahead and move on jump into the subject of today's cast, which would be 2023's Evil Dead Rise. I'm looking forward to this one. We watched it, and it was on my list. You made that point to say it was on my list, even though I was cringing and squirming the whole way through it. I'm aware it was on my list, and I knew what it was going to do. And
That's
it
why
did.
I picked it.
Oh, man.
That's why I picked it off your list, just to hear you squirm through it.
My body did not. There's a certain point at which we cross a line where my body just does not untense for the rest of the movie. Really fun stuff, I guess. I did it to myself.
This is true.
Yeah, great stuff though. Fun film, brutal film. Lots of fun Easter eggs and stuff in it too. Greatly appreciate it, everything they did, and for it being done by, who was it? David Cronin? Danny Cronin? Lee Cronin.
Lee Cronin.
I'm sorry, Mr. Cronin.
I knew the last name. As soon as I heard the last name, I was like, "Yep, that's it." Wait.
My problem there was
right.
My problem there was I think Cronin and I think Cronenberg. So
same.
Yeah, I fucks me up a little bit. The first name just out the window. But yes, I put this on the list actually, and over any other Evil Dead. For one reason, and it's that I love the way it takes the Evil Dead formula out of the cabin in the woods and puts it into a city apartment block. It really, I feel like it brings the same kind of energy of being isolated and confined, but in a completely different way. And it's just a really fun and nice dynamic and way they twisted it. And it's more brutal. Would you say this is more brutal than 2013? I think it was 2013, right?
I would say, to be honest with you, like I've only seen the remake, the 2013 one. I've only seen it once.
Yeah.
I was not that impressed with it, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
I don't know. I felt some sort of way about it, and I don't remember it probably as clearly as like obviously the other ones that I've seen
right
hundreds of times, like the originals. But
Army of Darkness, baby.
There are some parts in this movie, not gonna lie, like it will make you squirm if you do not have the stomach for
some parts.
So I would say probably, yeah, I would give it more brutal than the 2013 remake.
Some, maybe, possibly. Yeah, no, it's definitely, yeah. Ooh, buddy. I don't remember much about 2013.
Exactly.
That's definitely.
I was not that impressed with it.
I will say I only saw it once. Yeah, but I feel like it didn't leave that big of an impression. I think I was more upset about it watching it. I'm getting some feelings of upsettery. But no, definitely big fan of the originals. So Army of Darkness, it's a fucking banger. But no, I really love this one. I love what it did. I love the nods to the originals. I love a lot of the film work and everything feels very Evil Dead. Like the movie took pretty much all of its cues from its history, and I appreciate Cronin for sticking with it, and what he made was something amazing. I don't know if you had anything you want to throw in there before we go into the production, or
no, not yet. Anyway,
that's fair.
Yeah, so my little fun facts a little later.
That's fair. I know things are blocked off weird this time. All right, so we'll go ahead and get into the information portion of this program. Written and directed by Lee Cronin and based on characters by the legendary Sam Raimi, with production by Rob Tappert, cinematography by Dave Garbett, music by Stephen McKeon, and edited by Brian Shaw, also with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell in executive producer positions. There are a lot of executive producers on this film, but they're the only one. They're the big names, the big shots, big guns. Um, the film stars Lily Sullivan, Eliza Sutherland, Morgan Davies, Gabrielle Eccles, and Nell Fisher. It premiered at the
Which actually, sorry to
no
cut
no
you
no
off.
no
It
yeah
was the debut of Nell Fisher playing Cassie, the
yeah
little
as
girl.
a child, her first film.
Yeah.
A hell of a first film. Hopefully, it did not traumatize
Exactly.
her too thoroughly. Um, Great actor for a kid, I suppose. Hell of a performance. Uh, it premiered at the South by Southwest, or it premiered at South by Southwest, excuse me, March 15th, 2023, with its theatrical release on April 21st of the same year. With a budget between 15 and 19 million, it brought in a combined box office total of 147 million, thus proving the staying power of a franchise that its humble beginnings in B-rate slapstick horror, cult horror. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say because the original Evil Dead's definitely had its cult following. So I think a lot of people were because I remember when this movie was coming out, like they promoted the crap out of this movie,
Yeah, definitely.
and like it was not it wasn't too many times like just watching just regular TV you didn't see an ad for it like crazy, especially at night after like the 9 o'clock crowd. You saw previews for this movie all over the place,
Right.
and I'm not gonna lie, it hyped me up big time to watch it.
I
um Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it was like every other YouTube ad for me at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, a lot of they big media push for it, but I mean respect. It paid off surely. Uh,
Yeah, definitely. So the director Lee Cronin was actually quoted in an interview saying that they used 6,500 liters of fake blood during shooting this film, and I think there's a few times while we're watching it like I'm gonna have to see how much 65 liters is because I'm pretty sure that's underselling
yeah,
how much blood they put in this movie,
yeah,
especially just that elevator scene.
so much
Um,
blood.
I'm like, that might be underselling a little bit. So I'm like, I need something to compare,
Right.
because it was a lot.
I still haven't Googled just to get an idea of what that looks like. Like, can you put it in like a swimming pool or a fish tank for me? Like, I need to see how big that is. How much volume is that actually?
And actually, when the movie was supposed to come out, it was originally meant to go straight to, well, I believe it was HBO Max at the time, but now it's just
Yeah,
Max. It was supposed to go straight to HBO Max,
Mox.
but the test screenings went so well that the studio actually decided to give it a theatrical release instead, and obviously it did wonders because it made $147 million,
Huh.
at the box office. And then another little like tidbit from the movie, the clock, the ticking clock in the beginning, in the inside the cabin, was actually the same clock that Cheryl in the original Evil Dead is drawing, which I thought that was kind of cool little callback to the original movie. And another thing with the series of movies, the this movie, Evil Dead Rise, is the only movie that does not have Ash's Oldsmobile in the movie. But the chainsaw at the end is actually the same color as the Oldsmobile, so like a cool little like what they call Easter egg callback to the original movie. I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, that was confirmed by Cronin too, I believe. Um, Film's full of Easter eggs, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They packed all the Evil Dead they could into this Evil Dead.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not sure if like I think it might have been in this one because well, it was in this one where it mentions 3 books and everything. I'm not sure if it was in this one where 3 books was established. But that was a fun fact, and
Because
seeing
you
how things are
mentioned
interconnected.
there was, because you mentioned, I know when we're watching it, there was a comic book where they mentioned three different books of the dead,
I
right?
think I'm not sure. It might not be mentioned in it. Thinking back on it, but
Because I
it
know the
was
first
a
time.
what was that?
Well, I was just saying, I know the first time I've seen this movie, I did not catch the 3 books when they're going through the recording. I
Right,
did not
right,
catch that at all. So I'm like, it's funny how these books just pop up in the weirdest
right.
places.
And I think it might have been in this film that the 3 book was established. But
Okay.
it is in reference to the previous films. Um, Now I don't know if it is 2 different books between first 2 films and Army of Darkness, or if it is the same book in those 3 films and then it's a different book in the Evil Dead comic that I think it was Ash versus Jason or whatever, where also kind of semi-establishes that Jason is a Deadite.
I need to find this comic, by the way.
But yes, this is I think it is this film that establishes the 3 book rule, uh, which is that's a fun little fact, and I guess people don't know it because you didn't know about it, but
I did not know. Like I said, the first time I watched this movie, I didn't even catch it, and then when we watched it again, that like when you pointed it out, that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, did not realize
could be an easy
there's
point to
three
miss.
different books of the dead in in this series. Because I mentioned how much different the book in this movie looked from the book in the original,
Right, right.
and yeah, that's when we caught, oh, there's 3 different
3
books.
different books of the dead. Uh, yeah, good movie, fun movie. Definitely did have a lot of fun with it. Very, very brutal film. But yeah, it's packed full of Easter eggs. I don't have anything else to put out on this. There's a lot behind the production and everything, and a lot of fun facts to it, and a lot of Easter eggs. If you want to look them up, they're fun. But I think we can go ahead and get into where the hell is my sidebar? The trailer, as it were. I actually already have it up over here, so I don't need that.
Yep.
All right, let's go. I actually
See, the funny thing is the things that made you squirm in this movie and the 1 or 2 things that made me squirm in this movie completely different. Because that egg scene, when she's just throwing eggs in the frying pan and you see the bloody egg,
right.
I'm just like, no, just no. And then you're squirming on, like, I don't know, the cheese grater.
Very much so. And I will say I actually started the trailer a little bit late there, accidentally. So I apologize for that. The trailer shows a lot, but it's kind of wild.
There's a reason they weren't showing this trailer on regular TV till after.
Well, of course. It shows a lot of very intense action. The scalping comes into it. The glass swallowing.
All the good parts.
The song's really good.
What is this, Danny? I found it.
What will I be?
That part with the peephole that's the one part from the trailer that I've always remembered, like when it was coming out, and that I think that part is like what kind of like hyped me up for the movie.
Right.
Oh, there it is.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
There's a reason this trailer was not coming on to that.
Yeah. The tattoo gun next to the eye. The cheese grater. Even seeing it in the trailer hurts.
That scene alone is why I picked this movie for this week.
You'd be a good mom someday.
You'd be a good mom someday, Auntie Beth.
Yeah. You know
You know how to lie to
And then
kings.
probably the most iconic line of the whole movie.
Mommy is in hell
Mom's with the
with me.
maggots now. So good. So good.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
So fucking good. Okay, Sarah, indeed. No, I don't need to start it over again. I've seen it enough now. Thank you very much. I don't need reminders of the trauma that I reintroduced myself to last night. So good. So damn good. Yeah, so anyway, getting into it. Do you have any opening statements on this film?
I mean, I do like, now that we're kind of like going into the movie after the trailer now, I do like how kind of the opening credits, because like you said, like one thing you liked about this movie is like it kind of takes it out of the woods and into like more like a city suburban area, an apartment complex or apartment building, I should say.
Right.
But I do like how the beginning of it does kind of start with a cabin next to the lake in the woods, and then like how the camera goes through the woods, like the I don't know what it's ever called, like the where it's like the camera's being like the demonic possession, like searching for somebody.
Right, yeah.
Like how the opening credits goes through the woods like that, and then I thought that was like a cool opening, and then you find out it's just a fucking drone.
It's yes, does take it out into the apartment and everything, but definitely starting in the woods is a nice.
Yeah.
It throws you off a little bit. You think you're in one place in this movie and then you're not, but it's an amazing start. And then I guess it Tarantino's it. They go back. But this whole
one day earlier,
the whole opening is insane. Like you said, the pretty much the entity moving through the woods, kind of Evil Dead, as it were, essential. Was a great start to it. I love the cabin. How it's just like a giant triangle of an oversized wooden teepee, I guess. But yeah, we go through. We see the clock right there in the beginning.
Yeah, and I know I made the comment while we're watching, and it's just like, has nobody ever seen a horror movie? Why would you be in a cabin?
Right,
ever
in a creepy cabin
ever
in the middle of the woods by yourself.
Mr. Voorhees is gonna get you eventually.
I mean, as somebody who has more than recently not stayed in a cabin, but in a flimsy tent in the middle of the woods in the pitch black of night,
Nope.
It's not so bad. Well, just lying awake, listening to every sound in the forest.
Nope.
It's not actually as comforting as one might think. But yes, we start out with the cabin in the woods with Teresa, Jessica, and Jessica's boyfriend Caleb. Caleb is an asshole. He is in control of the drone. And it's Jessica who is sick. Teresa's fed up. It's a really good setup. Teresa or Jessica is of course possessed by a Deadite or a Kandari demon, whichever it is. I don't know what we call these things anymore.
I just went with Deadite, to be honest with you, but
right.
That's just me.
Is there a difference between the demons and the Deadites? I don't fucking know. I'm not one for semantics. But yeah, it's she is clearly possessed, and it's a really good build up.
Yeah, the scene where her cousin Teresa is reading the book, and then Jessica laying on the bed is reading or is speaking out loud word for word of the book she's reading, and it just comes to a point where she's just flipping out, and then the
drops and falls off the
whoa.
bed sideways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what were you calling the throw up in the movie?
In the first part, I called it a cum cough.
There you go. Yeah.
And then I called it "Come Vomit" 2x later on when it happens again, because initially in this first scene it's just a cum cough. She coughs up the
Yeah,
cum.
that's true. Yeah, she's kind of like choking on something, and then it just kind of sports out.
It looks like cum. I don't know what to tell you. It's
There's no other way to describe it. There really isn't.
yeah. But yes, just this whole opening is great, really great. Reading the book from across the bed is so intense. And then the scalping, which this is not the first death yet, but she does die.
Technically, it's the first death on screen, but technically in the story, it's like the last death.
Yes.
Again, time.
Funny thing. But yes, they go through this whole process. Her hair she gets scalped, grabbed by the ponytail, ripped off by her cousin.
Yes.
She runs out to the docks to get to Caleb, and Caleb sees Jessica, who takes the drone, and this is possibly one of the coolest scenes in my opinion, where she just puts the drone to her face, hacks her face all to hell, and launches herself into the lake, sending Caleb in after her. His mistake. It's the last we see of him, aside from his head and neck portion down to the sternum, I guess. It lands on the dock to a scalped and bloodied Teresa. Does she die? We don't get do we get a confirmation on her death? It's an assumption.
Her brain is literally soaking up the sun.
Yeah,
she dies.
Look, I mean, I don't know. You might not. Painful maybe, but we never see her die. But anyway, yes, it's off screen. We get the title scroll as Jessica rises up out of the water, and it moves very quickly to a bathroom scene where we get our main protag, Bethany, or Beth, sitting on a toilet and taking a pregnancy test. I did make mention of this. This would be like the beginning to some weird slice of life anime. And now I kind of want an Evil Dead slice of life anime. I don't know if we can get that. We can talk to the lawyers. I did clench at the scalping. I do have a note that said Caleb had it coming, and I do agree. He deserved it. I got to have at least one of those per film. And the fact that so much is done with so little context. This is where I get my first note for the foot guys, because this is where we get the first foot close up of many through the film. I also didn't count them up. I'll do that later, and I'll let you know how many feet close ups we got. Not out of my interest. It's just something I happened to notice as this film went on. Then we get the switch over as a cab. It's a cab, or is it Beth's car? It's Beth's car. Pulls up to what is the apartment building of her sister, and I love this shot as she's approaching the building, just kind of panning upwards. It's very menacing and well done. The angle itself and the building itself just looks eerie as shit, with the vines growing up the sides of it and these huge patches and whatnot. But we still, this is where we just kind of slowly start getting the introduction of our main characters. Elle is currently working on a tattoo gun, and we get a scene of just an interesting
menace of kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just like this interesting family dynamic of early millennial rocker mom, possibly.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, I don't.
Bridget, the oldest daughter, Bridget's asking for a protest shirt, right? That she's not allowed to go to a protest by herself. The oldest child, Danny, just playing, basically acting like he's a DJ at some big show in an apartment complex where the walls are paper thin.
Right. Everybody's hearing that.
And then the youngest one, Cassie, making which my favorite character of the whole movie, making her doll, well, cutting off her doll's head and putting it on a stick and calling it Staffany. Staffany's the
Stephanie.
greatest character in the whole movie. Not gonna lie.
Stephanie is wonderful and serves her purpose well.
Yes, yes, she does.
Oh Lord. We get the smoking gun scissors as she's making Stephanie, and Elle calls out asking if she has them. So she just slides them under the couch. Everything has a purpose
Because
in
you
this
just
movie.
know, yeah, you just know when the camera just you see the scissors slide, they stop under the couch, and you see a close up on the scissors. Those are coming to play later.
Right. Everything has a purpose. Uh, we also get introduced to the neighbor kids, who may or may not be friends of the family. I don't know.
They know they know each other. That's about as far as the movie go or kind of delves into that.
Right, they know each other, and there's this weird dismissive dynamic between them, but they want to hang out, but she doesn't. But kids being kids, especially these ones. There's a fight over Stephanie in which Stephanie gets broken, and we see that newly formed sharp point at the end. Yet again, another thing you know is going to get used later by the camera lingering on it. Bridget runs in on Danny. Danny's upset. Finally, they grab Cassie and drag her in the room as well. It's a good family. It's a loving family. They got a decent dynamic.
But they are menaces.
They are menaces.
To others.
To others. We get sisterly jump scare, which I mean isn't really a jump scare for us, I guess, since we're not into the horrifying portion of the film again yet. Not yet. And Bethany gets bipped in the nose. And this it kind of adds more to the family trauma. We as things start unfolding throughout this, we learn that Elle's husband, they were married, up and dipped one day, and Bethany was not there for her when she needed her. It's also just before that they send the kids out to get pizza so they can have this little conversation. We get the trauma dump of everything with the husband leaving and Bethany being pregnant now. The kids return with pizza, pull into their parking garage, which I don't know where the parking garage is on this. I'm assuming underground.
It would probably be like either underground or the very like bottom, because a lot of times like an apartment building like that, you'll have a parking garage as like the first like 3 or 4 levels, and then from there up is like apartments.
Right. Well, you get a front
So
shot
it
where
might
you
be like
can
one of those, or it could be off to the side or whatever, and it has a door that goes up, or the elevator that goes up
attaches
to
on the
the
back
building,
side of the apartment or whatever.
something like that.
Because I'm not
I know
clear.
architecture a little bit.
I'm not clear exactly where they pull the car in. I think it might be under the building, but this is where the action starts ramping up. But suddenly there's a freak earthquake, and I don't know if the demons had anything to do with the freak earthquake or not.
Let's just assume they did.
You know, because they weren't unsealed yet, but everything kind of did play out a little too perfectly. Eventually, Beth and Ellie make up. The kids are coming in, the earthquake sets in, and the little girl's got her priorities straight because she's real upset about them dropping all of the pizza. I mean,
I would be too.
I was going to say, me too. Notes here are just kind of Deus Ex earthquake because there ain't no other way it was happening like this without some divine intervention. And the audio cues for this, because it's about this time Danny jumps down in the big earthquake hole, which I don't agree with jumping down into big earthquake holes.
This is where we both agreed while watching the movie. White people gonna white people.
Yeah, white people whiting really hard.
Yeah,
Um,
that sums up this movie pretty well. White peopling all over while white peopling.
white people peopling while white.
Exactly.
Whatever. But yeah, I don't know if Danny's being called to because it doesn't really give any indication. Just like the sound design, and it's great, but there's no indication as to whether Danny's being called to or not. But Danny finds these artifacts, I guess, almost by instinct. He's like running directly to these things and grabbing shit up. Whoever hid this book and those records in a vault underneath an apartment building is an asshole. Um,
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't an apartment building when they put them in there, though.
I guess
These
maybe
are
not.
records and books from like the 1920s, and it is like I believe this movie was present time of 2023.
Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about. This is set in California. This is another thing we had questions about is whether it was in California or if it was on the East Coast, like New York, or where it
No,
was.
it's
But
California.
it is California.
It's near LAX. It's Los Angeles.
I don't know what they got rocking over on that end. So it could have been anything, I guess. But still, the fact that Danny finds his way to them so quickly is kind of strange, and a little annoying because it just stupid kids. Um, but eventually they make their way up. They do take the elevator and they get chided for it by their mother. Don't ride the elevator after an earthquake. A lot of good that does, however, as later on that evening, Bethany is taking trash out and finds herself in the elevator. This is after Danny goes ahead and plays his little records and proceeds to open the Book of the Dead, which gives us beautiful glimpses of the inside pages. Really like
That's
the
when he's
art for the
trying
book.
when he's trying to open it, then cuts
And pricks himself
and
on the
then,
teeth. Yeah.
obviously, Book of the Dead needs blood for it to open.
Right. Um, like I said, I love the art for the book. I love the book design. It's really eerie. And the pages and the art's just beautiful. But yes, Danny goes ahead and awakens demons, playing the records where we get the appropriate chants and incantations. And I believe it's during that time we didn't establish who it was, I don't think, but we get the vocal cameo from Bruce Campbell.
He's not the main priest that's talking on the record. I believe he's one of the background priests that's like yelling,
Right, one of the ones
at,
protesting it.
yeah, protesting the main priest, saying, "Oh, we should investigate the Book of the Dead because we're religious and God loving, and this is clearly an evil book."
Right, surely we should go ahead and do the incantations. Really awful, really bad. But yes, things start getting a little crazy after that happens, and we get the general movement of, as I said, Ellie, going to take the garbage down to the dumpsters, and breaking her rule of not riding the elevator after an earthquake. Big mistake. I made the comment that this is our second movie that has horrific elevator scenes. This is much worse than the other.
Yeah, which when she's in the elevator is kind of like another little throwback to the original Evil Dead when the cable wires are, grabbing her limbs and pretty much just holding her in air, suspending her in air, I guess is a better way to put it. It's kind of a callback to the very, very controversial
Graphic
wood scene from the original because there is a little bit of the woods raping a girl seen in the original Evil Dead. So you don't get that in the elevator,
Yeah.
but you do kind of it's still kind of very similar to that scene with the
Yeah.
cable with the elevator cables.
it's a very intense one. But it's kind of a good callback to it. One of a million damn callbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll pause a moment because I did have a couple notes on the build up to it. The kid with the pizza, the Book of the Dead being beautiful. How quickly Danny got into all of that, because it was just like as soon as Bridget turned and left, Danny was like deep in it.
Yeah, pretty.
I had what a fucking psycho aunt. And I believe that is in the bathtub scene. I can't remember exactly what's said, but I also do remember Cassie saying she got stung by a jellyfish.
And that's why she doesn't like being that's why she likes to see underwater.
Right. And I'm thinking to myself, now Cassie, if you're gonna get stung by a jellyfish, why would you put your face in first? But then the bad aunt thing comes in, because Beth proceeds to act like she's been grabbed by something in the tub and further traumatize this poor child.
I mean, it came out to be a rubber ducky, and the kid's like, all right, whatever. You know, ha ha, you got me. That's what aunts and uncles are supposed to do.
Yeah, I guess so. I was ruined quite thoroughly. The record audio, when Danny first starts it up, is super fucking like eerie and unsettling. It really tickled my ears in all the right ways. But yes, it ramps up really quickly getting into the elevator scene, and it starts with like shoving, and then the earring rip is like that first like little piece of brutality that it feeds you. That made me clench kind of hard. We also get more foot shots, by the way, because apparently she's going to take out the trash and without shoes. I don't understand this woman at all.
When you're comfy, dude, it's California.
Yeah, but you're like going out and you're like this old ass apartment building hallways, going to the elevator, probably going down to the garage to a fucking dumpster. Like,
California.
Damn, at least put on some socks or something. You nasty. Also, good job, Danny. You just got your mom straight ruined. The homage to the tree thing. And the camera work inside of it is excellent. But yes, pretty much we get our first chronological death. First chronological death, we'll call it. Who then shows up at her front door.
Well, no, because after she gets possessed, she just walks in, and that's when she turns the stove on and starts making the
That's
eggs.
right. She hasn't spoken yet. The whole egg scene that we got in the trailer, which was fun until you got the blood in the eggs and the very aggressive spatulaing.
That was just
didn't do it for me. Made me a little bit squeamish. The great line, it's also said in the trailer, it begins telling the little tale about having a beautiful day and ending in wanting to cut them open and crawl inside of them to be one happy family.
Which we'll get to that a little later.
I get it. I guess that's
crawling inside.
That's kind of
the family
thing that happens down the line.
A little foreshadowing, to use a great English class term.
Right. There are a lot of quiet moments in this movie as well. Like when Beth is sitting on the bed with Ellie's body, talking to her. We get the fly landing on the eyeball, another slightly disturbing thing, but I'll take that over.
I didn't like that.
I will take that over anything else in this film.
The two scenes that made me squirm the most was the egg scene and the fly scene, and then you got the scenes that made you squirm, and I'm just like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh, man. I don't think there is...
I don't like things in my eye.
I don't think that there was ever a point where I was just like, oh, this is awesome. It was more just like, oh, God. Oh God, why am I putting myself through this again? Oh God, we'll get to them, and they're all throughout the film, aren't they? But yes, she sits up in the bed. They go through a whole thing. The Deadites get some of the best, or I'm not even going to say get some of the best lines. They get the only really good lines in this film.
It's true.
But after she sits back up, for some reason, everybody keeps thinking she's still somehow alive during this. They move her to a bathtub because she's burning up. And she convulses, goes nuts, and proceeds to prove that, yes, she is dead and possessed by demons once again. This family still just doesn't get it. We're at another foot close up. I think this is like the 4th or 5th in the movie at this point. As she's clinging to the walls and screeching, everybody hears in the apartments, including the neighbors. Really great effects in this scene. The cracking mirrors, the boiling bathtub, everything about it. Just really good, really well done. So yeah, she does climb out of the bathtub, and that's when we get the broken glass from the mirror that she uses to stab Bethany through the hand. Bethany manages to make her little escape, and she gets them in the living room where she's like eeny, meeny, miny mowing them, kind of.
And then, yeah, picks Cassie to attack next.
Yeah. That is.
But then, well, yeah, because she picks Cassie, but then Bridget kind of like, cuts her off, and then that's when she gets the jumps on top of her with the tattoo gun and gets her right on the face with the tattoo gun.
Gets way too close to the eye.
Yeah. And then that's when we start to see Bridget starting to be possessed. Because they pretty much lock Ellie out into the hallway.
Yeah, they hit her with a fucking chair.
And then it's when Beth wants to hear the record for herself, and Danny takes her into the room and they listen to the record while Bridget and Cassie are in the room alone. Bridget's starting to be possessed a little bit, and Cassie just by the front door. Oh my god, my mommy said it's back to normal now. Even said, well, no, because this is where Elle starts killing the neighbors.
I was just gonna say, yeah, actually, even before that, we get she's out in the hall and she proceeds to start murdering the neighbors, biting out an eyeball, spitting the eyeball. This is
where I don't call it the most unnecessary death. I just call it the dumbest death, but this kid gets awful light compared to everybody else. She bites out the eyeball, spits it out into the kid's throat, and that's how he dies. And that's all that happens to him.
Right.
Compared to everybody else, that kid got awful light.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get anything like, he didn't get his eye ripped out. He didn't get leapt upon and gnawed upon. He didn't get any kind of shotgun blast or anything.
The smaller kid gets, his
whole
basically slashed across the stomach and gets gutted,
and then yeeted across the room.
Then the Spanish neighbor with that guy's eye chewed out gets his throat slit. Then Elle gets shot by a shotgun, so she has to take care of the old guy. And yeah, it's
so much happening.
Somehow Cassie's seeing all of this through the peephole. Somehow thinks her mom, "Oh, mom, you're all better now."
Yeah, right.
Open the door.
Idiot kids. I really love both scenes shot through the peephole. The peephole scenes are possibly some of my favorites in this film.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I'm glancing at them now, and it's kind of hilarious. The little boy just got yeeted across the room again. That was fun. But yeah, these are some of my favorite scenes in the film. I'd have to say, just the way they're shot and the action taking place through them, the blood splatter that ends up on the peephole. It's really good.
And then, like I said, Bridget starts being possessed and then starts bleeding out of the nostrils and out of the eyes, the blackest ink you'll ever see.
All right. Straight up abandons Cassie in the living room space, while Beth and Danny are in Danny's room investigating. Danny finally admitting that, oh hey, I may have fucked up and released some demons. I don't know, but here's what I have.
Yeah.
Maybe we can find a way to stop it.
And Bridget attacks Cassie, and then
The first Cassie gets choked the F out by her mom, because this is where Cassie actually approach. Sorry, I leaned against away from the mic. Approaches the door and gets lured into opening it by Deadite mommy Ellie, while Bridget is in the kitchen currently oozing black blood out of every orifice and trying to drink it down. They hear Cassie because now she is being choked and held up by the side of the door. Thankfully, Ellie's still outside of it. And they get Cassie safely pulled back and the door reclosed. But that's when Beth goes to the kitchen to find Bridget with just damn feet on the counter, like a heathen.
Full on crab pose.
Yeah, just full crab crouched on the counter. Oh man. And this just begins a whole series of things that hurt me on the inside. Bridget is eating a glass. Because
and then the close up on the throat as she's swallowing the glass, and you see the glass just kind of
pushing through
her throat as it goes down, and it's so good.
I don't like having things inside my tummy. Just fucking creepy as shit. And
then ask Beth, do you like things inside your, kind of referring to the baby inside of her. And yeah, that was pretty great. And then this is also where we get the famous cheese grater scene on the calf.
Beth falls. There's a cheese grate on the ground. She throws it back, I guess, in defense. And unfortunately, Bridget
catches it and then just slams it on her calf and just
makes
scrapes
fucking spaghetti out of her flesh. Oh my god, the way it squirts out in noodle form, just
so good.
Yeah, no, this
so good.
This kitchen scene hurt me more than anything else in the film. The whole kitchen scene hurt me more than anything else in this fucking movie. But yes, she proceeds to oh god, Ellie outside the door fucking going off. Meanwhile, Danny is running as Danny has become the target.
Because he gets stabbed right through the damn bicep, which that's a little squirmy little scene that they get stabbed in the chest as he sets Bridget on fire. And then that was pretty good little scene there.
Yeah.
And then
it's the infection of Danny. It gets stabbed in the bicep. Before that, we get oh, sorry.
Yeah, she just throws up blood all over Danny, and that's pretty much how he gets possessed too.
Yeah.
After he gets stabbed.
I was gonna say even before that, we get the return of Stephanie and the use of the pointy end.
Oh yeah. Stephanie is the best character in the whole movie.
Right. And we get the body of Bridget tied up and stuffed into a sheet or whatever and tied down with bungee cord while Beth goes off to listen to these records and try to get to the end of them and find a way to stop the possession. Finding out that there's no way to actually stop it, and the only way to stop the Deadites from pursuing them are to chop up and burn the bodies.
Yeah, dismember them pretty much.
Complete dismemberment, yes. And in this time, it has given Ellie a chance to get back into the house by way of the air vent.
Yeah,
I don't
idea she gets from the cat who's stuck in the air vent.
From the cat who's stuck in the air vent. Don't know if the cat gets killed. Do we know if the cat gets killed?
It never shows the cat.
I hope
You only hear the
I
cat.
hope the cat doesn't die. I'll be very sad. Um, but yeah, meanwhile, Danny's been all stabbed up and fucked up, blood vomited all over him. And I think it's the transference of the blood that's causing the
Yeah.
possession.
I would say
Because there was
yeah,
some question
probably.
about that, I think, in the beginning. But Danny gives his apology to Cass, and Cass is underneath the couch with I almost said Schrodinger's scissors, but that's not what I meant at all. But yeah, Beth gets her hands on him up and through the nostrils of Ellie, and it's about this point we get the quote from the trailer about being a good, knowing how to lie to kids well. Beth promises she's going to protect her, Cassie, the only remaining child at this point, I guess.
Yeah.
And
And then that's when run off to the elevator.
yeah, they try to make their escape. The door in the hall through the abandoned apartment is still locked. They're having no luck getting in. So they do the thing that is not supposed to do, but they do it, I guess, and they get in the elevator. Meanwhile, they're being screamed at by the becoming amalgamation. This whole hallway scene where Ellie and the neighbors and everyone form into a
This is where they start like
goopy monster beast.
Well, no, it's the kids that go inside of
Oh
Ellie.
yes, okay.
Bridget and Danny kind of slice open her stomach and then just like literally go
Start
inside
crawling
of her
in.
to make like one big being.
Yeah, they tear into her very gruesomely.
But this is because this scene where they're in the elevator, this is where we really question the 6,500 liters of blood
yeah.
because this whole elevator fills up with blood
It's a full
to
elevator.
almost the very, very top before they finally get to the ground floor, and it just opens and it's literally the scene out of The Shining with the blood coming
Yeah.
out.
I want to note that each time there's been like a death for one of the family members, like the Book of the Dead flashes to the page and shows the art for it. That's a really cool effect too.
That was pretty cool.
And I love the art for this weird amalgamation that they become. But the elevator is filling with blood, and the emergency hatch in the top opens up as they've gone through the vents once more and are trying to climb down into the elevator with them. We get a camera shot of the weight limit and capacity for the elevator, and everything goes black. So we get a big, loud, crunching noise, and then a shot downstairs from the outside of the elevator as the doors erupt outwards with a lot, so much blood.
And then just Beth and Cassie.
I don't know how they lived. Maybe there was just enough liquid in there that the impact was absorbed completely through the liquid. But I'm pretty sure I'd be dead if I dropped from, what? Are they on the 6th floor or something like that?
I don't remember what floor they were on.
Cassie asks, "Am I dead?" No, but you probably should be, kiddo. I don't believe that should have worked. Anyway, they make their run for the parking garage. They're gonna get out of here. There's a lot of blood down in the parking garage that I didn't notice initially, and I don't know if it's because the elevator exploded and it's just been running out of the doors or what. But there's a lot of blood in this parking garage already. They make it to an Oldsmobile.
It's not the same.
Or not an Oldsmobile. They make it to a Buick.
No,
which,
it's a station wagon.
Yeah, they make it to a Buick station wagon, which is not an Oldsmobile. Not in a traditional sense, at least. Buick might have something to do with Oldsmobiles. I don't know cars. Let me tell you something. Don't know cars. They are attempting to make their escape, and we get the return of the earthquake hole, which has been just the worst thing to happen to anybody in this whole film. As a car gets stuck, and they are in some trouble. As the amalgamation comes up, they get out of the vehicle, crouching around it, trying to hide. And we get a crazy epic battle sequence, essentially, between Beth and Monster Family, I guess. They do have a slight effort where they try to get out, and they do get out briefly, but Cassie gets her leg grabbed and dragged back in. There's a lot of blood in this sequence as well, which adds to the tally in total.
You get the part, where they're literally dancing around a wood chipper trying to, get away, and you just know that wood chipper is about to be used.
Yeah, it's going to be used for something good. The chainsaw falls into play, and we kind of get the chainsaw and the boomstick in the same shot. Yeah. So we get a nice throwback there. And Beth finishes it by jamming the chainsaw into well, I guess Beth is going to get fed into the wood chipper first, actually. But Cassie manages to get it stopped, turns the tables, jams a chainsaw into them, and shoves them, the amalgamation, into the wood chipper instead. And it's just blood spray upon blood spray upon blood spray. The Deadites get one last quip, and I think it's like, "You really do look like our mom," or some shit like that, before she gets her head kicked into the wood chipper. I have to wonder, because that Cassie and Beth proceed to start walking out. Beth picks up the chainsaw on her way out. I'm really confused as to how they're going to explain this to the cops when they're inevitably picked up for being two women covered in blood carrying a chainsaw down the road in LA. Curiosity. And it brings us around to the beginning of the film.
Where Jessica from the beginning of the movie lives in this apartment building as well. I think just one floor down.
Yeah, she lives on the 5th floor.
Getting ready for the little trip to the cabin, talking to her cousin on the phone. Then she goes to the parking garage and literally sees the blood and wood chipper and everything. And this is where we believe she gets possessed before going to the cabin.
Yes, it was almost a surprising lack of awareness as she was walking through the parking garage. She doesn't notice that there's a bloodbath.
She's a 20-something California kid. She's oblivious to everything around her except for her cell phone and makeup.
I guess. I mean, she finally catches it in the mirror. But you mentioned still goes on the camping trip or whatever. And have to wonder if she was just, I mean, she does get possessed. We get the implication that she is possessed when she's attacked in the garage. But yeah, it brings us right back around to the beginning, essentially. Great way to start the movie, great way to end the movie, great middle portion to the movie. And we get the neat credits with the beautiful artwork from the Book of the Dead as it plays through. It was, I think this will probably be the most brutal movie we have on the list for this season. I can't.
Probably, to be honest with you.
I don't think any of the others are going to make me squirm, make me cringe and squirm.
Not like that, anyway.
In the way this goes. Any closing statements on this film, RJ, or do we want to jump into the instant replay?
I mean, I think we pretty much covered. Well, we did cover pretty much the whole movie, so yeah, I think we can just kind of go to what our favorite kill of the movie was.
All right.
If you want me to go, or if you want to,
you can go ahead and go.
I am curious if it's the same one, because I'm sorry, like the wood chipper. Wood chipper is amazing.
Yes,
that's top notch for me.
If we're counting,
whenever you see a wood chipper and you know somebody's going in it, yep, number one.
Yeah, no, that's 100% fair. So the wood chipper is yours. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Man, I don't know.
There are some good ones though. There are some really, really good ones though.
Yikes, I don't know. I guess that might have to be the best one. Danny, Bridget, and Ellie all going into the wood chipper.
Yeah.
So none of the others really stood out. I mean, that
pretty
or
tough. See, yeah, because a lot of the other scenes aren't really like the kill, because the kill scenes besides that one aren't really big. It's like the attacking scenes, like the cheese grater, the knife in the bicep,
yeah,
the scalping.
the
Those aren't
struggle
really
is
like,
big and extravagant, but the deaths aren't
those aren't
necessarily.
really like the kill scenes. So like the kill scenes mostly in like the hallway are just like one after another, and they're just so quick. And but the wood chipper thing is the wood chipper scene is very dramatic and kind of, it's not, they don't like play it out, but it is a dramatic like little scene. And then the little quip just before she kicks her head into the wood chipper to finish her off, like it just mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, I agree. If I don't go with that, I'm just gonna go with Ellie's initial death in the elevator, because it's
In the elevator,
because it is a very focused death scene. It's a
a callback.
Yes, the callback to it, and just how intense and brutal it is. And I liked the shooting inside that small space. It was really good. It was close in, it was tight, it was very impactful. So yes, if I don't go with the Deadites getting shoved into the wood chipper by way of chainsaw, I will go with Ellie in the beginning on the elevator. Least favorite or most useless or dumbest death. I think we're in agreement on this one too.
The kid choking on the eyeball.
Yeah, Jake choking on the eyeball.
Oh, is that what his name was? Yeah, him choking on, like, he did get he got off very, very light in this movie, because that's literally all you see of him after is just him choking on the eyeball and dying, like, but it was just like,
I mean, when you've
dude,
got
that's how you gotta go out.
through
After all the brutal scenes in this movie, you're gonna go out by choking on a dude's eyeball.
right, elevator mutilation, disembowelment, throat cutting. Yeah, you choked on an eyeball. You not even worth the credit, kid. I do have it pulled here. Teresa in the beginning is a non-counted death according to the Dead Meat fandom. Evil Dead Meat.
Yeah, dude, she's gonna bleed out. Her brain is literally baking in the sun. On the dock.
She could have lived. You never know.
Okay.
She could have. She is presumably bled out, but you never know. It's never shown. But yeah. And then there's just overall scene for the film. Also that parking garage, but I would have to say, I guess like I said, the scene shot through the people with that kind of fisheye view. Very impactful, well done, intense scenes. Loved the blood splatter. That was just a really cool set of scenes.
The scene between Ellie and Cassie through the peephole is great.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mommy
like I
and
said, I
Daddy
think
are
that
getting
was
back together.
That was the scene in the trailer that probably hyped me the most for this movie. And then, yeah, it was good. I really loved that.
It's a really good one. I agree. Yeah, I think that does it for those. Then, do you have anything else you wanted to add there?
Yeah, don't really have anything else. I think we.
I guess it would be time for me to select next week's film. I suppose.
Yes, it would be.
Well, I mean, there are 3 left here, eh? We are at the mid-season.
3 left on mine, 3 left on yours.
Let's see. I already know what I'm keeping for last. I already know what I'm holding on to. So
I might have a good guess of which one you're keeping for last.
You may. Next week, I'm going to say this is going to be one that I'm going to watch sublegally, because I won't give anybody money for this film, because the man who made this film is an absolute monstrous piece of shit, and I hope that one day he dies cold and alone with fear in his heart. But we're gonna.
How do you really feel about it?
we're going to be watching Jeepers Creepers. It's a good movie. I don't know, bad
It
people.
is an excellent movie.
Bad people make great things, unfortunately, and this is one of those situations. But I am, gonna watch it. And hey, if you guys want to watch it, you go ahead and watch it too, and watch it sub-legally. And then maybe send a
but you
nasty email or tweet to someone important.
I was just gonna say, just a little preview for next week. You put Justin Long in a movie, it's most likely gonna be good.
Yeah, I agree. I love Justin Long. I am inclined to agree. Yeah. So look forward to that. I look forward to it. I haven't seen Jeepers Creepers in probably a decade or more.
I think the last time I watched it was when AMC was doing its little like 30 Days of Halloween, and it happened to come on, so I watched it. But I think this was like a few years ago.
More recently than I.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Well, I look forward to it. Anyway, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. We have been your hosts, Hobbesy and RJ over yon. You can find us on Blue Sky, IG Threads, and Twitter /X at Hobbesy Horror. I missed the Hobbesy Horror Screamcast Bros. No, you can find us at Hobbesy Horror across the board on those. Personal places you can find us. I am at HobbsyVT on Twitter and /X, and at that Hobbesy across the board everywhere else, including Twitch. Come see me on Tuesdays where I'm commonly fishing, and other days where I might be house flipping now, trying to grind out to get to some horror content. RJ, we can find you where?
RJWare89.
Over on the Twit box. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to tell us you hate us, love us, want to just have a general conversation, you can hit us up also at our email, gulp, hobbsyhorror@gmail.com, where we do check it. I think we check it. It might honestly just be like the quickest way to a shredder, but I mean, it goes somewhere. Anyway, we greatly appreciate you for joining us this week. We hope to see you not next week, but maybe next week, but also the week after and the week after that. Onward into infinity, whatever the word is. Okay, thanks. Bye.